EC plan to go about it? What is the size of the migrant electorate? What are the challenges? Diksha Munjal. The story so far. The Election Commission of India, ECI, said on 28 December that it was ready to pilot remote voting for domestic migrants through newly devised remote electronic voting machines, RVMs, so that the voter does not have to travel to their home state or district to cast their vote. The EC will demonstrate an RVM prototype to political parties on 16 January and has asked for their suggestions by 31 January. How significant is the migrant vote? In a concept note, the EC has admitted that the absence of a central database for migrants poses a problem on the issue of remote voting. However, the EC recognizes that migration-based disenfranchisement is indeed not an option in the age of technological advancement. As per the 2011 census, 45.36 crore Indians, 37% of the population, were internal migrants settled in a place different from that of their registered residence. Expressing concerns about a stagnating electoral participation, the EC says that while 67.4% of the eligible 91.2 crore Indians voted in the 2019 Lok Sabha election, about one-third or close to 30 crore voters did not cast their vote. Inability to vote due to internal migration, domestic migrants, is one of the prominent reasons to be addressed to improve voter turnout and ensure participative elections, the EC stated. What is the EC's proposal for RVMs? In its 2015 order on a plea seeking voting opportunities for domestic migrants, the Supreme Court directed the EC to explore remote voting options. A committee of the poll panel had considered remote voting options such as proxy voting, postal ballots, internet voting, and early voting but did not recommend any of these methods citing various reasons. The EC has come up with a prototype for a multi-constituency remote electronic voting machine, RVM, for migrant voting, a modified version of the existing EVM model. The EC says the RVM can handle multiple constituencies, up to 1972, from a single remote polling booth. The voter will have to register, online/offline, for a remote voting facility within a pre-notified time with the concerned returning officer, RO, of their home constituency. Once the voter is verified and marked eligible for remote voting, a multi-constituency remote polling station will be set up in the area of their current residence. The RVMs will have the same security system and voting experience as the EVM, with the modification of an electronic ballot display with candidates and symbols instead of a fixed ballot paper sheet. When the voter scans his/her constituency card in the presence of the presiding officer at the station, their respective constituency and candidate list will appear on the RVM display. As for counting the votes, the electronic system will also count and store the votes for each candidate in a constituency. What are the hurdles? Multiple opposition parties have already expressed their concerns. The Congress has said that the use of the proposed remote voting mechanism could seriously undermine the trust in the electoral system, urging the EC to first restore it through transparency and via honest engagement with the opposition's concerns. The party pointed out that fears of the misuse of EVMs have not been systematically addressed. DMK member P. Wilson has said that the EC has no locus standi to come up with a prototype without the required amendments to current electoral laws. The EC itself has mentioned some procedural challenges that it is seeking stakeholder suggestions on, like how to define a migrant voter with respect to retaining registration at the original place, whether they are staying away for a longer duration at their ordinary residence and/or are temporarily absent. Other issues include that of placing remote voting in the electoral concept of territorial constituencies or demarcated areas in states for equal representation of voters. Other issues include the implementation of the Model Code of Conduct, MCC, in remote areas, ensuring secrecy of voting and appointing polling agents at remote voting booths. What next? Sources in EC told The Hindu that the idea is to implement RVMs as a pilot project in the upcoming assembly elections in 9 states in 2023. And if successful, it could be fully implemented in the 2024 general elections. However, upcoming deliberations with parties and the possibility of amending election laws will determine if remote voting will materialize. Several issues need to be sorted out, says the Election Commission, before remote voting for migrants can be considered. Political parties have been asked to send their suggestions by 31 January. the free food grain scheme work? Alarming level. India's wheat stocks have dipped dangerously close to the required buffer stock levels. Reuters. What amount is the government going to spend? Are there enough stocks of wheat and rice? How will it impact states which already provide free grains? Priscilla Jabraj. The story so far. In a cabinet decision on 23 December, the centre decided to provide 5 kilograms of free food grains per month for the 81 crore beneficiaries of the National Food Security Act, NFSA, during 2023, rather than charging them a subsidized amount of 3 rupees a kg of rice, 2 rupees a kg of wheat and 1 rupee a kg of coarse cereal as is currently done. This will soften the blow of the termination of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, PMGK, which has provided an additional 5 kilograms of free grains every month to NFSA beneficiaries after being launched as an emergency measure in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in April 2020 and received multiple extensions since. What is the impact of this measure on the food subsidy bill? In a normal year, without COVID disruptions, the centre's food subsidy bill on account of the NFSA amounted to around 2 lakh rupees crore. The PMGK effectively doubled that sum for the past 2 years. Now that the centre plans to give free food grains under the NFSA for a year, it will spend an additional 15,000 crore rupees to 16,000 crore rupees on that. However, the centre will save around 2 lakh rupees crore by ending the PMGK scheme. Overall, the move will relieve a major burden on the union budget. What does this mean for food grain stocks? Experts point out that the move will be even more of a relief for stressed food grain stocks. The annual food grain requirement for the NFSA is about 520 lakh tons, while the PMGK required an additional 480 lakh tons, according to Food Ministry officials. The difference comes from the fact that the poorest families coming under the Antyodaya Anna Yojana category received 35 kilograms a family every month under the NFSA, but received 5 kilograms per person under the PMGK. At the time when the PMGK was launched, food grain production, government procurement, and government stocks were regularly breaching record levels. In 2022, however, the situation is different. Rice and wheat harvests have both been lower this year, hit by climatic events and fertilizer shortages in some areas. The global stress due to the Russia-Ukraine war has also led to a situation of high food grain inflation. India's wheat stocks in particular have dipped dangerously close to the required buffer stock levels, with the centre resorting to a ban on exports to ensure food security for the domestic market. It has also been forced to substantially reduce wheat allocations under the public distribution system and substitute wheat supply with rice in states such as Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Continuing the PMGK would have been unsustainable without further increasing procurement levels. Former Agriculture Secretary Siraj Hussain estimates that the central pool may have just 159 lakh tons of wheat on 1 January 2023, barely above the buffer norm of 138 lakh tons. At the end of the day, continuing PMGK was more a problem of grain, not cash. If procurement is not high enough, how can it be continued, he said. The government also needs wheat for the open market sales scheme, he added. What are the political implications? This is definitely a political move, says economist Pranab Sen, a former chief statistician of India. A purely economic decision here would have been to end the PMGK, which was always meant to be a temporary measure, and return to a normal pre-COVID situation. But this free food grain announcement is damage control to combat any adverse fallout from ending PMGK, he added. If this announcement was meant to dampen backlash against the end of the PMGK, it is unclear what will happen at the end of 2023, when the free food grain measure is set to end. Of course, this will have to be continued beyond 1 year. What government can afford to roll back free food grains in 2024, in the run-up to general election? Mr. Hussain said. The more subtle political fallout will be in the states, especially those such as Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, West Bengal and Jharkhand, which all provide free food grains anyway, using their own money to further subsidize the central allocation. A handful of others such as Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and Telangana also provide further subsidies, though their ration is not completely free. This will give them a financial surplus, but it takes away an important political plan for states. The centre will now take full credit for something they had been providing previously, Dr. Sen said. It is also unclear whether states or centre will now bear the cost of transportation of food grains. A senior food official in Tamil Nadu estimated that the state is set to save more than 1,300 crore rupees through the centre's announcement. Tamil Nadu already provides universal food security. The focus now needs to be on nutrition security. If the states do not already do so, I would suggest that they spend their new savings on providing subsidized or free pulses, spices, or edible oil through the public distribution system in addition to food grains, the official said. How will it impact beneficiaries? Leaving aside government budgets, household budgets could be upended by the move. The Right to Food campaign estimates that poor families will be forced to spend 750 rupees to 900 rupees a month to access the current level of ration entitlement. Ration card holders who have received 10 kilograms of grains a person every month for the past 2 years will see their entitlement abruptly halved. Of course, their expenditure on their NFSA entitlement will also come down. For instance, someone spending 8 rupees for 4 kg of wheat and 3 rupees for a kg of rice under NFSA will now get those grains free, saving 11 rupees a month. However, that is dwarfed by the additional 150 rupees to 175 rupees they will need to spend to buy the 5 kilograms previously provided free under the PMGK in the open market, estimating market prices for rice and wheat at around 30 rupees to 35 rupees per kg. The increased expenditure will be even more stark for those in states which anyway provide free NFSA rations, since beneficiaries in those states will not even receive any savings due to the centre's announcement. However, the consumption of food grains as part of a meal varies substantially by state, ranging from about 200 grams per person a day in Kerala to 400 grams in Bihar, and the impact of the move is thus likely to be the highest in Hindi heartland states where grains make up a higher proportion of the diet. What is the crypto awareness campaign? New woes, the crypto dilemma stems from concerns about the unregulated currency having a destabilizing effect on the country. iStock photo. Why is a government outreach program on sectors such as cryptocurrencies, which has seen a lot of turbulence recently, and online gaming necessary? What are the risks and concerns, and why does the messaging need to be right? Saptarno Ghosh. The story so far. The Investor Education and Protection Fund, EPF, will launch an outreach program soon to create awareness of cryptocurrencies and online gaming. The need for the outreach is based on the observation that both crypto assets and online gaming, that extends to gambling and betting, are still being promoted in a risky manner despite the recent turmoil in the sector. What is EPF? The Investor Education and Protection Fund, EPF, is managed by the EPF Authority, which was set up in 2016 under the provisions of Section 125 of the Companies Act, 2013. The authority is entrusted with the responsibility of administration of the EPF, which, besides promoting awareness among investors, makes refunds of shares, unclaimed dividends, matured deposits, and debentures, and so on to rightful claimants. As for investment education, the idea is to reach out to household investors, housewives, and professionals alike in rural and urban areas and teach them the basics. Focus areas include primary and secondary capital markets, various saving instruments, the instruments for investment, such as mutual funds, equity, among others, making investors aware of dubious Ponzi and chit fund schemes and existing grievance redressal mechanisms, among other things. Until the end of October, it had conducted more than 65,000 awareness programs covering 30 lakh citizens. Why is there a concern about crypto? The crypto dilemma stems from concerns about the unregulated currency having a destabilizing effect on the monetary and fiscal stability of a country. Further, crypto exchanges in India are being investigated for their alleged involvement in unlawful practices such as drug trafficking, money laundering, violating foreign exchange legislation, and evasion of GST. As on 14 December, proceeds of crime amounting to 907.48 crore rupees have been seized, 3 persons have been arrested and 4 prosecution complaints have been filed before the Special Court, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has recommended framing legislation on the sector. It is of the view that cryptocurrencies should be prohibited. In a written reply to the Lok Sabha recently, Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary stated that crypto assets are by definition borderless and therefore, any legislation, for regulation or for banning, would require international collaboration to prevent regulatory arbitrage. The collaboration must entail an evaluation of risks and benefits and evolution of common taxonomy and standards. Will an outreach program help? Vipul Kharbanda, non-resident fellow at the Centre for Internet and Society, CIS, whilst supporting the move, points to 2 concerns. First, apart from the outreach program, there has to be a regulatory mechanism for the crypto sector. Second, he says the messaging has to be right. If the government takes a heavy-handed approach and starts saying things like virtual currency is not legal in India, that will not be entirely true. People may presume incorrectly that it is illegal, he states, adding, one may be indulging in unlawful transactions like money laundering using crypto assets. But unlawful transactions can also be executed using legal banking channels as well. Rajagopal Menon, Vice President at the crypto exchange Wazirex, also welcomed the move. Cryptocurrency investing can be a complex and risky endeavor as the category is extremely volatile and works round the clock. It is important for potential investors to thoroughly educate themselves before making any decision, he said. As for the allegations, Mr. Menon told The Hindu, the immutable, public nature of the blockchain makes crypto a poor choice for money laundering because it allows law enforcement to uncover and trace money laundering far easier than cash transactions. What about online gaming? The Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MeitY, has been appointed the nodal industry for online gaming in India. For esports, the nodal agency is the Department of Sports, under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. A proposed framework for central regulation by MeitY is expected to address issues faced by the sector. For instance, there is confusion about the definitions of a game of chance like fantasy games and a game of skill, a term which has been used in the Public Gaming Act, 1867, but has not been spelled out. There are risks from cybercrimes as well. Khushbu Jain, a Supreme Court advocate and founding partner of law firm Arc Legal, told The Hindu that in a game of skill, while the element of chance cannot be entirely ruled out, it is the element of skill, mental or physical skill of the user, that plays a dominant role in determining the outcome of the game rather than pure chance. She pointed out that a glance at the rulings of the Supreme Court and several high courts clearly establish games of skill as legitimate business activities protected under Article 19(1)(g) of the Indian Constitution. These rulings have also emphasized a clear distinction between games of skill and games of chance. Despite these court rulings, online skill games have faced restrictions in a few states due to addiction, financial losses, and the thin line between skill and chance. From an industry standpoint, Roland Landers, CEO at the industry body, All India Gaming Federation, AIGF, welcomed the move. The online gaming industry has become increasingly concerned with the menace of offshore illegal gambling websites that provide their services and rampantly advertise to innocent Indian users, often masquerading as legitimate gaming platforms. He said that it has become increasingly difficult to differentiate between good and bad operators. Industry players want a regulatory mechanism for the crypto and online gaming sectors to stop fraudulent plays. PTM/1 Front PTM in massive U.P. based fraud, 50,000 job aspirants duped of crores, Odisha police. Satyasundar Bari. Bhubaneswar. The Economic Offences Wing, EOW, of the Odisha police has cracked one of the biggest scams in India, with at least 50,000 job seekers having been duped of crores of rupees. The EOW unearthed the job fraud being run from Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh. This scam targeted the desperate and innocent job seekers in at least 5 states, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, West Bengal and Odisha, said Jai Narayan Pankaj, Inspector General of Police, EOW. Mr. Pankaj said early estimates suggested at least 50,000 job seekers across the country were duped of crores. The scam was being run by a group of tech-savvy engineers from Uttar Pradesh with the help of some expert website developers. This core group was assisted by around 50 call center employees. These employees were paid 15,000 rupees a month and were from Jamalpur and Aligarh of Uttar Pradesh, he said. The modus operandi of the scamsters came to light after Zafar Ahmed, 25, from Aligarh was arrested. Ahmed, alleged to be one of the masterminds of the scam, is an engineer by profession. In fact, there are 4 scamsters, of them 3 are cousins, all engineers. They had hired a person with expertise in website development. According to the EOW, Ahmed was produced before a local court in Aligarh which granted 5-day remand. He would be produced before the court in Bhubaneswar. Phony websites. These scamsters would develop websites identical to government portals displaying the job advertisement, mainly targeting health or skill department jobs, some using Pradhan Mantri schemes to attract and deceive job seekers, the Odisha EOW said. Job aspirants would be first charged 3,000 rupees as registration fees. During the course of time, he or she would be directed to submit money in the name of interview, training and other orientation programs. Gullible job seekers had paid up to 70,000 rupees. These fraudsters usually withdraw money only from Jan Seva Kendras using the QR code of the Kendra and mule accounts. There is a plethora of such Jan Seva Kendras in Uttar Pradesh who would give the cash amount taking a 10% commission, Mr. Pankaj said. Money from the mule bank accounts was collected by the accused from Rajasthan. The EOW has found use of more than 1,000 fake SIMs and 530 handsets for this scam. They would throw all the mobile sets and SIMs used in the closed operations in the nearby rivers. The fraudsters had been duping people since the year 2020 and have amassed a lot of property worth crores of rupees in Aligarh. The EOW would be approaching all states concerned as well as the central agencies. The scam was run by a group of engineers from Uttar Pradesh with help of expert website developers. Women break new ground in MGNREGS. 14 states recorded higher participation of women in 2022 to 1923. Kiran Bakale. They make up 57.8% of the scheme beneficiaries in 2022 to 1923, a 10-year high. Bihar and UP record a high proportion of women workers. Shobhana K. Nair. New Delhi. The proportion of women workers participating in the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, MGNREGS, has touched a 10-year high in the financial year 2022 to 1923. According to the latest statistics available with the Union Rural Development Ministry, 57.8% of the workers who used the scheme this year were women, their highest level of participation since 2012 to 2013. Of the 15 states, Kerala, Bihar, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Odisha, Jharkhand, Assam, Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh, that the Hindu reviewed, 14 states reported an upward trend in women's participation. The only exception is Kerala, where the drop is minuscule. For the past 5 years, in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, women's share in the MGNREGS workforce has been hovering between 85% and 90%. According to Kerala Rural Development Minister M.B. Rajesh, this is the result of two factors: market forces and welfare incentives for women MGNREGS workers. The gap between MGNREGS wages and market wages is high in the state, especially for male workers who are paid far more than women in the open market. This makes MGNREGS work much less attractive for men. Continued on page 7. PTM/1. Caught 22 drones with weapons, drugs in 2022 from across border, BSF. BSF personnel displaying a drone gunned down by them near the Rajatal border outpost near Amritsar. File photo. The security force also seized 316.988 kilograms heroin, killed 2 intruders, and apprehended 23 Pakistani nationals in the last year in different incidents. Vikas Vasudeva. Chandigarh. Amid persistent concern over drugs, money, weapons and explosives being pushed from across the border from Pakistan into Indian territory, at least 22 drones were captured by the Border Security Force in 2022. According to the BSF, which is involved in safeguarding the 553-kilometer-long India-Pakistan international border of Punjab, in 2022 they successfully detected and captured 22 drones. The BSF also seized 316.988 kilograms heroin, besides 67 weapons and 850 rounds. The force also killed 2 intruders and apprehended 23 Pakistan nationals in different incidents. In a display of humanitarian approach, the BSF handed over 9 Pakistan nationals, who had inadvertently crossed the international border, to Pakistan Rangers. Concern over drones. In Punjab, the opposition parties have been consistently raising concern over the smuggling of weapons and drugs from Pakistan using drones. Earlier this month, former Punjab Chief Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party leader Amrinder Singh met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and later said that he deliberated over the prevailing situation in Punjab against the backdrop of deteriorating law and order condition. He expressed concern over the smuggling of weapons and drugs through drones from Pakistan, which, he said, were finding their way into the hands of those who were trying to disturb peace in the state. Governor's visit. Governor Banwarilal Purohit had visited the state's border districts of Pathankot, Gurdaspur, Amritsar, Tarn Taran, Ferozpur and Fazilka in April and September this year to take stock of the security scenario. He had held meetings with officers from the central and state government agencies and village heads and other prominent people in these districts and specifically sought cooperation from locals to become eyes and ears of the security forces. He had also urged them to inform the police and other security agencies if they found any nefarious activity, including airdropping of drugs, weapons via drones, or other means from across the international border. The BSF handed over 9 Pakistan nationals, who had inadvertently crossed the international border, to Pakistan Rangers. PTM/1. Bihar Hooch tragedy accused arrested. Har Hooch tragedy accused arrested in Delhi. The Hindu Bureau. New Delhi. A 36-year-old man has been arrested by the Delhi police in connection with the Bihar Hooch tragedy where over 80 people died in the state's Saran district after consuming illicit liquor earlier this month. The accused was identified as Ram Babu Mahato. Special CP, Crime, Ravindra Yadav said information was received by the interstate cell of the crime branch claiming that Mahato had been absconding from Bihar and could possibly be hiding somewhere in the capital. Mr. Yadav said Mahato was wanted in a total of 7 cases lodged in Bihar in connection with sale of spurious liquor. As per reports, around 80 people died in the incidents related to sale and consumption of spurious liquor. Accused Ram Babu Mahato was one of the key players in the incident. Bihar police was searching for him when he kept shifting his base and went incommunicado, the special CP said. Mahato's location was tracked to Dwarka in southwest Delhi, the police said. Police said Mahato belongs to a farming family, having 4 brothers and 2 sisters. He was born in Bihar and has studied up to class 8. Owing to prohibition in Bihar, he wanted to make a quick buck and indulged in illegal liquor sale, police added. Mahato is wanted in 7 cases lodged in Bihar in connection with sale of spurious liquor. LG lays foundation for 17 new replicas at Bharat Darshan Park. Based on the waste to art concept, the park has fetched a revenue of 5.86 crore rupees for the MCD. File photo. The Hindu Bureau. New Delhi. The Municipal Corporation of Delhi, MCD, will use nearly 300 tons of scrap to create replicas of 17 monuments from 14 states for the second phase of works at its Bharat Darshan Park, the foundation stone of which was laid by Lieutenant Governor Vinay Kumar Saxena on Friday. Replicas of Taj Mahal, Victoria Memorial Hall, Mysore Palace, and Jallianwala Bagh, as well as Goa's Basilica of Bom and Sikkim's Rumtek Monastery, are among the attractions at the park, where the LG on Friday also inaugurated a new food court. A senior MCD official said that under the second phase, works at a cost of 9 crore rupees will be executed across nearly 3 acres of the park in the next 5 months. Replicas of 21 national monuments, set up in the first phase using 350 metric tons of waste material, adorn the rest of the park, which has a total area of 8.49 acres. Based on the waste to art concept, and inaugurated in December 2021, the park has seen over 5 lakh visitors till date and fetched a revenue of 5.86 crore rupees for the civic body. Meanwhile, in anticipation of the G20 meeting this year, the MCD has identified over 250 roads and streets under its jurisdiction that require repair works, for which 182 crore rupees will be allocated. Sri Lanka sneaks into TN. Police ramp up vigil. S. Vijay Kumar. Chennai. Notorious gangster Mohammad Nazim Mohammad Imran, alias Kanjipani Imran, sneaked into Rameswaram days after his release on bail by a court in Sri Lanka, sources in Tamil Nadu police said on Saturday. The state intelligence has sounded an alert to senior police officers across the state to increase vigil along the coastal districts and look for him and his associate, who landed along the Ramanathapuram district coast on 25 December 2022. Imran, wanted by Sri Lankan authorities for various offences, including murders and criminal intimidation, was arrested in Dubai in 2019 and deported to the island nation. The underworld kingpin was in judicial custody till a local court granted him bail on payment of 2 sureties, each 5 million local currencies. Specific alert. The Tamil Nadu intelligence had a specific input from central intelligence agencies and reliable sources that Imran was planning to enter the country after his release on bail. According to sources, the input reportedly claimed that he left the court in disguise and moved to Sri Lanka's Talaimannar, from where his associates were making arrangements for his infiltration into India. Imran is a drug kingpin having strong connections with heroin and cocaine suppliers based out of Afghanistan and Pakistan. He is facing several cases in Sri Lanka. Following information that Imran would attend a birthday function in Dubai, a special team arrested him there in 2019. His gang is actively involved in major smuggling of drugs across maritime boundary lines, a senior police officer told The Hindu on Saturday. The officer, who requested anonymity, said that despite there being no formal communication from Sri Lanka on Imran escaping to India, intelligence agencies received credible input about his movement and issued the alert. NIA revelation. Imran's entry into the state gains significance in the backdrop of the National Investigation Agency exposing an international drug cartel involving Sri Lankan nationals operating from the special camp in Tiruchirappalli, which houses foreign nationals facing criminal charges. Mohammad Nazim Mohammad Imran, alias Kanjipani Imran, allegedly sneaked into Rameswaram on 25 December.